Introducing the Open Palm Podcast with host Jerome Shaw, available today on your favorite podcast platforms. The Open Palm Podcast is a positive, uplifting, motivational, and inspirational podcast. The host brings his insight and philosophy, and you can't help but gravitate towards his smile, his words, and his wisdom. Again, the podcast he hosts is titled The Open Palm Podcast. It's about inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas and topics. He'll also help you become more aware and in harmony with your own life, giving you a better understanding of your place in the world and using your skills accordingly, greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. You can find the show today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You can also connect with the host on Instagram at Jerome Shaw. That's JROMESHAW on Instagram. Jerome Shaw with the Open Palm Podcast. Motivation, meditation, mentality. Go listen, download, and subscribe today.
A Taoist story tells of an old man who accidentally fell into the river rapids, leading to a high and dangerous waterfall. Onlookers feared for his life, but miraculously, he came out alive and unharmed downstream at the bottom of the falls. People asked him how he managed to survive. "I accommodated myself to the water, not the water to me. Without thinking, I allowed myself to be shaped by it. Plunging into the swirl, I came out with the swirl. This is how I survived." Let's think about this for a second. Plunging into the swirl, the man came out with the swirl. Have you ever found or ever felt that life was against you? That you were out of sync or out of the flow of things in your surrounding environment? Succumbing or surrendering to the push and pull of life, the ebb and flow of circumstances that perhaps seem to be beyond your control. What did you do? Did you fall into despair? Did you allow things to be chaotic? Were you able to let go and allow things to take place? There's a saying that we must adapt to nature, that nature cannot change for us. But if we try to fight the natural forces, they will overcome us. But because we are primarily made of water, it may be easy to become a part of it. Because nature is so much more powerful than we are, we must become one with it in order to survive. Being synchronous with nature, reaching a state of synchronicity, of alignment with nature, places us in a harmonious environment, in balance with life, in the flow, as it were, just like water, just like nature. You know, nature does not seek to harm, but by its very nature, if you are in its path, you may be swept up, just like running rapids or a river of water. If you try to fight against the current, you may tire out and eventually find yourself weak, swept up, unable to move, just guided wherever the current wants you to move. But if you flow with the current, not only will you get to a destination much faster, much easier, but you'll be able to use the power of the current for your advantage. Using its power, melding into it, becoming water, you are able to get that much farther, that much faster. But trying to fight against the forces of nature will put yourselves out of harmony, at odds with all that is, and it may even be at your own peril. But just like the man in this story, going into the swirl, you may come out with the swirl. Have faith and serenity that things will work out. For when we try to control events, they might backfire. But when we work with what life gives us, when we play the hand we've been dealt, flow with the current, flow with the river of water, become water, we may survive, and we may even go on to thrive. Allow yourself to surrender to the current of life, my friend, even though it is so easy to hold on and so hard sometimes to let go. Be like the log in the river that does not swim upstream, but flows with the river, carried by it, surrendering to it, letting go, and ending up just where it needs to be. Thank you for listening, my friend. This has been Jerome Shaw on TOP, the Open Palm Podcast here in San Antonio, Texas. I pray that you received an encouraging message from this episode, allowing you to know that there is a lesson that we can learn from nature, flowing with water, becoming water ourselves, achieving a state of harmony and balance in which we utilize its power, the power of nature, for our benefit. Share this episode with a like-minded individual who is learning and growing, becoming their greatest version each day, just like you. Not expending or wasting energy, but using that energy to bring them to an even better standing, an even better station. Pay it forward so more can hear the message. And if this is your very first time receiving this podcast, thank you, my friend, for listening to The Open Palm. You're in the right place. Subscribe for more inspirational messages like this. And if you feel it in your heart to support, consider opening your browser to anchor.fm/jshaw. Clicking that support link there is much appreciated. Big shout out and big thank you to all the wonderful supporters who continue to donate to this podcast. Much love to you. Have a wonderful and blessed day or night wherever you are, my friend. And as always, take care. Hey there, my friend. So you've heard about Anchor, but do you know why it's the easiest way to make a podcast? Well, first off, it's free. It allows you to use creation tools that let you record your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also distributes your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms. You can even make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. It's everything you need in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Can't wait to hear yours. Let's see what you have to offer the world.